tell, then you see the road. I'm out to my soul into the sides whenever the smoke clear out of my face and my picture perfect. Do it. All of that green together, the truth, yeah. Tell you the
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to Cypherfics. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the fifth part of, What If Dannyphantom Enters Luigi's Mansion? Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of Phantom Fan 21 on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. 3 months later. Rose sighs as her parents send a note that they weren't coming home. She turns to see Prince Boo sighing as well. They have been dating for 3 months and his parents found out about her and they didn't approve. But Prince Boo would still sneak out of the castle to be with Rose. Rose has yet to tell her parents about Boo. Well, I guess neither of us are going to meet each other parents, Rose said. Seems that way. Prince Boo said sitting at the table. But I'm glad to see you Boo. Rose smiles at her boyfriend. As am I Rose. Prince Boo smiles back at his girlfriend. They share a kiss before Prince Boo back away. What's wrong? Rose asked. Rose, I'm afraid it near that time of year for me. Prince Boo said. What do you mean? Rose asked. We Boos have a mating season coming up and this year I'll be affected by it too. He told her. Mating season? She asked. Yes, it was Boos do when they want to mate with their lovers. There are 2 steps to it. 1, we must eat our mates. He stops as he notices the horror on her face. Not like that. We really don't eat them per se. More like we swallow them whole and pull them out. They are perfectly fine. He assures her. Okay, still very disguising. She said. Well, our second thing is to perform the deed with our mates. Prince Boo said. Deed? What deed? Rose asked. Prince Boo blush and whisper it into her ear. Rose's face turns red as Prince Boo backs away from her, still blushing. Wow, that's, she tries to say. I love you Rose, but I didn't want to force you into it. But I fear if I keep fighting against it, I might force you against your will and that's the last thing I want. Prince Boo said. Rose looks away, her face still red from the deed he told her about. She faces back at him and tries to ask a question. So, how be bad? She shuddered. Prince Boo looks away not sure how to answer. He sighs and looks back at her. Today, I'm safe but when tomorrow rolls around then I might not be able to hold back. He told her. Rose looks down, she never thought that Prince Boo wanted her to be his mate and they had to do those 2 things. She looks back up and sighs. Okay. She said. Okay. Prince Boo asked shocked. I'll be your mate. I'm a little uncomfortable about it but you're still the same handsome boy I met 3 months ago. She said shyly. Rose, Prince Boo started to say but Rose stops him. I love you Boo. No other guy had even treated me like you do. Most make fun of my eyes and hair then try to get to know me. Rose said. Rose, your hair is fine. And there's nothing funny about your eyes. I love you for who you are. Prince Boo told her. Rose smiles and they share another kiss, their love forever strong. 4 years later. Today make the day that Prince Boo was to become a king. He stood with his mate Rose who smiles at him. Prince Boo knees down as the crown was placed on his head. He stood up and faces his people who cheer for him. He looks at Rose who smiles back at him before he faces his people again. My people. Today just doesn't make the day I'm crowned king. I have spent 4 years with a appealing woman that has seen me for who I was and I did the same. We have been together all this time even though my parents didn't approve of it. I would like my mate, Rose Queen to step up. He said, shocking Rose. Rose did, and King Boo continue. Rose is a human from the human realm that was dragged to the gala 4 years ago. We met on that night and become good friends. We dating for 3 months before we became mates. I love Rose with all my heart, so I ask her, Rose, would you be my queen? He said, and asked her as he knees down in front of her. Rose gasps in shock as she knew what King Boo was asking her. Rose felt her eyes tear up as she grew very happy. Yes. She shouted. The crowd cheers as King Boo stood up and they share a kiss. A crown was placed on Rose's head as the two newer king and queen of Boos faced the crown ready for the challenges ahead. 1 year later. King Boo walks up and down the hall as his staff was helping Rose in her room. 9 months ago, Rose announced she was pregnant and King Boo cheer for her. She informs him that she might act differently for some time and might give him a hard time due to seeing other mothers when they have a child. It was a rough 9 months, but when Rose told him her water broke, he knew just what that means. He kept pacing until he heard the door open and the doctor steps out. Well? King Boo asked worry. They both fine. Congratulations, Your Highness. It's a girl. He said. King Boo walked inside the room and saw Rose on the bed, holding a warp-up blanket. He slowly walks up to her as Rose took notice of him. Rose? He asked. Come here, Boo. Say hello to your daughter. Rose said. King Boo sat on the bed and looked at his new daughter's face. She had white hair like both of them, and when she opens her eyes, they were both pink. King Boo smiles as Rose hand him their daughter. The baby let out a smile that King Boo smile at. She appealing. Like you. He said to Rose. Boo, you know she is the world's first half-human/half-ghost hybrid? She said, reminding him that she was human. Yes. But that doesn't matter. She's our child and I love her no matter what. King Boo said. As do I. But what should we call her? Rose said, then asked. How about Bowsette? King Boo asked. Bowsette? Lovely name. Rose smiles as she leads on him. King Boo smiles as they look at their now sleeping daughter. King Boo promises himself that he'll be a good father, not know that 3 years later, he would change for the worse. Things were quiet as Danny and Bowsette left the room. Bowsette couldn't believe her mother was a human, making her half-human like Danny. They entered Danny's room, and Danny short of flinch from something on his back. Take off your shirt. She said, confusing him. What? He asked. Take off your shirt, I need to check your injuries. She said. Danny sighs and did just that. Bowsette couldn't help but blush. She never thought about what Danny would look like under his clothes, but the way his muscles seemed to be even with his body and how well toned it was. It wasn't overly muscle, nor just skin and bones. Danny notices and short of blush a bit himself. Bowsette shook her head and had Danny sit down on his bed. She then went to find the first aid before thinking about what her mother told her. She couldn't believe her mother held this from her. She could have told her the minute they came in the mansion, but she still kept it from her. Bowsette shook her head. She can worry about this later. She turns and saw Shivers clearing up the library after Danny and her mother first meeting. Shivers. She said, getting the butler to turn to her. Yes, Ms. Bowsette. He said. Where's the first aid kit? She asked. In the bathroom sink cabinet, second door to the right. He said. Thank you. Bowsette and left. She found the kit and returned to Danny's room and blush again. Danny was sitting down on his bed, still shirtless. She shook her head and walks up to him. She then notices something else. Danny, is that a birthmark? She asked. Danny blinks and looks down at it. It was always strange to see it as the shape of Florida. Yeah, how about we focus on what we need to do, Danny said. Bowsette guesses he wasn't comfortable about it and decided to drop it. She pulls out a bottle of iodine and notices something else. Most of his scars were mostly healed while some were taking their time. Still, she sat behind Danny and placed some on his back. Danny just sat there and notices how quiet she was. Bowsette? Are you okay? He asked. I can't believe it. My whole life I thought I was a full ghost, but now. I'm a halfa like you. I don't even know who I am anymore. Am I a princess, am I adopted, or am I something else? She said, worried and confused. Danny knew this was too much for her, and truthfully it was a lot for him too. He turns back to her and smiles. Bowsette, full ghost or not, you are the kindest, smartest, and most appealing girl I ever meet. Princess or no princess, I'm glad to know you. He said. Bowsette looks surprised and smiles. Danny then gave off a cheeky grin. You also have a temper. Bowsette huffs and slaps one of the scars she was covering, making Danny cry out, ouch. The next morning, Danny shot up after a new nightmare of King Boo capturing his friends, family, and Bowsette. He looks around and sighs. He was still in the mansion, he was safe. He almost jumped when he heard a knock on the door. Come in. He said and saw Shivers step in. Good morning, sir. I came to tell you that breakfast will soon be ready in the dining room. He said. Thanks, I'll be down shortly, Danny said. Shiver nods and closes the door. Danny got out of bed and changed out of the PJs that Rose gave him. He found his clothes washed and folded close by. He had to admit, Rose was a very nice woman, nothing like King Boo. He got up and got dressed. He went to the hall and was about to head downstairs before thinking about checking on Bowsette. Bowsette stood next to the shower and thought back to everything her mother told her yesterday. She was a halfa, a born halfa. She couldn't believe that her mother kept it hidden from her for so long. She sighs, and dry herself off, and started to get dressed. She heard her door open and turns around to see Danny standing there. The two just stare at each other before Bowsette remembers she was in her underwear. She screams and Danny quickly shuts the door. Sorry. He said as his face turns red. Doe. I should have knocked first. I walk in on her. Danny beat himself for doing that. Danny. He turns and saw Rose stepping up to with a worried look on her face. What happened? I heard Bowsette scream. She asked. I was coming to see if she was awake, and she, saw a rat. Yeah, a ghost rat. She got it. Danny said, a little afraid of telling her what really happened. Rose raised an eyebrow but smiles. From what she heard about him, Danny wasn't that type of person. She nods and rubs his hair. Okay, I wait for you two in the dining room. She said and walks away. Danny could sigh before the image of Bowsette in her underwear appears in his mind, making him blush. He shook his head and headed downstairs. Bowsette joining them later and blush as she recalls Danny walking in on her as Shivers set the food down for them to eat. Danny notices and knew he better apologize for what happened earlier. Hey, Bowsette. I'm sorry about what happened earlier. He said. It's fine. I know you didn't mean to. Bowsette said, blushing still. Rose raised her eyebrow again but decided to not ask. Bowsette notices her mother looking at her and turned away from her, now upset. So, how is everything going between the two of you? Rose asked. Just fine, Bowsette said. Danny could see the tension between mother and daughter and thought he better stay out of this. Bowsette ate her food quickly before standing up. Excuse me, I need to take care of something. She said and left. Rose notices and sighs. She knew her daughter was upset and had to make amends with her, but where to start? Danny notices and sighs. Mrs. Boo. He said. Please, call me Rose. She said. Rose, I understand how you feel. Keeping a secret from a family is not a good thing. Even if that means keeping them safe. My parents don't know that I'm half ghost. Danny said. Rose looks at him and sighs. It is not that I meant to keep it from my daughter. I was planning on telling her when she was older so she could understand it, but my husband changed and threw me out. For a long time, I wonder why he changed before I recall him getting that purple gem that was given to him a few months back. I think the gem is changing the way he thinks and acts. The Phantom rebels are trying to defeat him and free him from the gem power. It hasn't been easy. Rose told him. Danny leads back in his chair and thought about it. So, King Boo is not really evil. That gem on his crown is making him act out in things that are not his way. Danny thought before turning to Rose. You should tell her. Let her know that you still care and love her. Bowsette doesn't seem like the person to hold a grudge. After all, Jazz told me that showing a bit of trust and forgiveness will lead people to a better future. He said. Rose smiles and hugs Danny. Danny blinks in shock before returning it. I'm glad my daughter is dating you. She said and kissed his forehead. Danny blinks as Rose stood up and went to find her daughter. A bit later, Danny was exploring the mansion before he notices another room with its door partly open. He pushes it open and was shocked to see the room. The room was full with toys and had a crib. Danny walks in and spotted a picture on the nightstand. It was the same picture that he found at Bowsette's house. Danny picks up the picture and looks at it. He could see the happy royal family. The king, queen, and princess. Danny put it back down and walked up to the crib. He looks in it and thought he saw a young baby Bowsette looking back at him. Mr. Fenton. Danny looks away and saw Shivers standing by the door. He turns back and saw that the baby was gone. Shivers steps up and notices the picture of the royal family. How long have you knew them? Danny asked. For a long time. Ms. Rose was the first person to ever care for me, and when I met the king, I saw how much the two love each other. I even meet the young princess who was not more than a year old at the time. When the king kicks out Ms. Rose, I followed. I do hope for the day that the family returns back to the way it was before. He said. Danny looks at the picture and sighs. He knew that King Boo he saw a few days ago was not the same King Boo that Rose and Bowsette knew. He knew he had to find a way to bring them back together. Would you like to step outside for some air, sir? Shivers asked. Yeah. Danny nodded, looking at the picture and then the crib. The two steps outside and Danny was surprised to see two ghosts that he knew from Bowsette Christmas party. It was DJ Phantasmagloria and Marty. Danny thanks Shivers for the help and walks up to them. Well, look at here. How is it hanging, honey? DJ Phantasmagloria said when she saw him. Fine. I take you heard what happened? Danny asked. Yeah, glad you're recovering. DJ Phantasmagloria said. Thanks, and what are you two doing here? Danny said, then asked. I'm here to help out with Morty's new movie. She said. The ghost movie directioner. Found a cemetery and started to look over it. What kind of movie? Danny asked. He said he wants it to be a horror/comedy movie. He wants me to take care of the soundtrack. DJ Phantasmagloria told him. Danny nodding before seeing Morty flew up to him and started to look at him in different angles. Yes, yes. You're the one. He said, making Danny confuse. Morty. DJ Phantasmagloria said, with her hand on her hip and a shake of her head. Oh. Right, you see, I think you're perfect to be the star of my movie. Morty said. What? Danny shouted, shocked. Yes, the world-infamous Danny Phantom, the main star in my movie. I can see the rates skyrocketing. He said. Are you sure? I mean, not everyone likes me. Danny asked. Now don't worry, I make sure the whole world, and the zone will see you as a star. Morty said. Danny still looks unsure but thought he might as well give it a try. Rose spends most of her time looking for her daughter before recalling the one place she would go to when she was younger. Rose went to the roof and saw Bowsette sitting there, looking into the ghost zone. Rose sighs and sat down next to her. The mother-daughter pair sat in silence before Rose sighs again. Bowsette, I didn't mean to hide this from you. I had been meaning to tell you once you were old enough, but when your father kicks me out, I had no chance of telling you. I was going to take you with me, but I never had the chance. Bowsette, when your father changed, I didn't see the man I fell in love with. I knew there was something wrong with him. Each day, I worry about you. I worry about how you were raised. But when I heard you finally escape from the castle and how you weren't like him at all, I was happy. I thought after all these years, my daughter was freed. I wanted to find you as soon as possible. Then I heard about you meeting dannyphantom and starting up a relationship with him. I didn't want to get in the way of that. So I kept my distance but made sure your father couldn't try to hurt you. I never meant to hurt you, Bowsette, I just wanted you to be happy. Rose said. Bowsette listens to her mother and notices how sad and happy she was. Bowsette felt really bad about it. Mom, I'm sorry. I was so upset about you not telling me about this that I just gave you the cold shoulder. Human, ghost, or in between, it doesn't matter to me now. Even after living with my father for so long, I was worried and wondering how you were doing. When we finally met after so long, Bowsette started to say, but Rose smiles. I know. I miss you. Rose said, and the two hug. They both broke the hug when they heard some noise coming from the other side of the mansion. Bowsette held her mother down and headed to the sound. They were shocked to see Danny fighting off some zombies and was all bloody. A zombie was about to get behind Danny and bitten him, making him cry out in pain as he waves his arms comically. Bowsette just saw her boyfriend being attacked and flew up, and blast the zombie off him. Danny blinks as Bowsette knees down. Are you alright? She asked. Before he could answer, they both heard a cut, and turned to see Morty looking very happy. Morty? DJ Phantasmagoria? She asked, seeing her two friends. Bowsette? This is just a movie. Morty asked me to star in what he calls Phantom of the Dead. It's a horror and comedy movie. Danny said. Bowsette blinks before blushing. Oh, sorry Morty. She said to him. No worries, princess. In fact, your recuse actually gave me the idea of how to end this movie. He said. Both of them look confused as Rose steps up. Well, I would like to see this. She said. It was a bit later that the bitten scene was done and Bowsette was kneeling over Danny, who was breathing heavily as he looks at her. Hang in there, Danny. She said, trying to cover the wound. Bowsette, it's too late. I can feel myself turning into one of them. Danny said. No, don't say that. Hang in there, please. Bowsette said, almost ready to cry. Bowsette, I've been to ask you something. Something I have been wanted to ask for a long time. Danny said. What is it? She asked. Danny coughs but smiles. Will you marry me? He said. Bowsette was so shocked that she almost forgot her line. Yes. She said before they kissed. Bowsette broke the kiss as Danny lays on the ground not moving. Bowsette stood up and ready a blast. I love you. She said before Danny's eyes snap open and growls. Bowsette fires her blast and looks away, tears falling from her eyes. Cut. Bowsette wipes away her fake tears as Danny stood up as Morty was crying over the end. Oh, that was appealing. He cries. Rose smiles, their way their love was shown, and how Danny asked her hand for marriage. It might be for the movie, but she truly approves of it. Danny sighs, glad to know that it was done. Well, I'm going to get clean up now, Danny said and started to head towards the mansion. Oh. And Bowsette? I'm really sorry about walking in on you. He said blushing. Boussette's face turns red as she remembers what happened that morning. Rose raised an eyebrow but just shook her head. Night fell and Rose entered her library before seeing Clockwork waiting for her. She sat down and poured some tea for them. They both took a sip before Rose faces Clockwork. Clockwork, I know they can't stay here, but they can't go back to the house you made for her. I fear my husband knows where she lives, and he could step up a trap for her. She said. Agree. After all, Helen is the one that told him about her and Danny. Clockwork said. Helen gravely, Rose growls. Helen was her rival for Boo's love. Even after marrying him, Helen would still try to win his love. Rose won't put it behind her to see this as a way for Helen to win her husband's love. Let's send stewards to get her stuff as well as her dog. They can stay at Daniel's house. After all, you trust him. Clockwork said. I do. Clockwork, I can't keep this from her any longer. I have to tell her. She said. Very well. Clockwork said. Morning arose, and Danny walks into the dining room and saw how Bowsette and Rose were talking and getting along. Danny smiles, glad to see his girlfriend and her mother talking. He sat down, and Bowsette turns to him. Morning. She said and kissed him. Danny kisses back and they started to talk about whatever that came to mind. Rose smiles, out of all the people her daughter chose, it was Danny that she enjoys the most time with. Danny was kind, brave, and very nice to her. That also caused Rose to remember something that she needs to speak with her daughter about. Something that her daughter needs to know before that time of the year comes for the Boos. However, she couldn't let them stay here any longer. Danny is fully recovered, and it would only be a matter of time before King Boo finds out that they are here. Bowsette, Danny. She said, getting the lovers to turn to her. I'm afraid I can't keep you here any longer. My husband knows you are with me, and because Helen knows where Bowsette lives, you can't go back to her house. The only choice you two have is to go back to your house, Danny. She said. What? Are you sure? Danny asked. Yes. Rose nodded. But, we just reunited, Bowsette said sadly. I know. But with my husband acting the way he is now, keeping you both here is a high risk. Luckily, I had a friend head to your house and pick up a few things. Rose said and then whistles. Bowsette heard a familiar bark and turns to see Boopup running downstairs and jump at her. Boopup. Bowsette cheer as she hugs her. Dog. I still remember the time you found and saved him. You have done a good job of raising him. Rose smiles. Danny picks up a piece of his bacon and heard Boopup barks. Danny turns and saw he was looking at his bacon. With a smile, he gave it to Boopup. Rose saw it and smiles. You two make good parents. She teased. Mother. Bowsette blushes. Danny smiles sheepishly before shivers enter the room. My lady. Everything is ready for the princess and the young MSTR trip. He said. Very well. Danny, can you let me talk to my daughter for a bit? This something I need to tell her. Rose said then asked. Danny looks at Bowsette, who could only shrug. Danny nods and left the room. Bowsette puts Boopup down, before facing her mother. Bowsette, I know that you perform half of the Boo marriage with him. And I know you ate him. Rose said, still can't stop thinking about how disguising that was. I only did it to get my father's guards to back off. She said. I know, but it almost Boo's mating season, and this year, you will be affected by it, Rose said. What? You mean? Bowsette asked, surprised. Yes, I know you want to take your time, but you might have no choice but to perform the deed with him, Rose said, recalling how King Boo acted when he was affected. But, Bowsette blushes. I know you're afraid of scaring him off. Bowsette, I'm telling you this now because if I don't, then things would get really bad. It could destroy your relationship with him. You have a few more months before it happens. So give it some thought. Rose said. Boussette's face turns red as she thought over what her mother said. Boo mating season was coming up, and because she was half Boo, she too would be affected by it. She had time to be ready and tell Danny about it, but she wasn't sure. Bowsette, just tell him. From what I've seen, Danny isn't the type to turn you away. But tell him at your time but before mating season. Rose said before standing up. I love you, my little Boo. No matter what your father says. She said, and hugged her daughter. Danny and Bowsette stood in front of the mansion as Rose, Shivers, and the Phantom Rebels stood in front of them. Rose walks up and looks at Danny. Danny, if you ever need the help of the Phantom Rebels, use the medallions we gave you, but only for emergencies. She said. Right. Danny smiles before Rose hugs him. Take care of my daughter. She added. I will, Danny said and hugs her back. Rose broke it and then hugs Bowsette. Stay safe. She said. Bowsette hugs her back, and they broke as Shivers opened the portal. The portal is ready. He said. The lovers turn to the portal and Danny grabs one of Bowsette's luggage and she grabs the other. They held hands and walked through the portal. It closed and Rose sighs. We are to never speak about where they are. If anyone asked, say you have no idea. Clear? She said to the rebels. Yes, Queen Rose. The rebels said. Amity Park. Jazz was very worried. Even since Danny left, he hasn't been seen or heard. She tries to call him but got nothing. She even tried calling Bowsette but she didn't answer. Jazz got so worried that she called Tucker and Sam, who was out looking for Danny right now. She was able to get her parents to not worry by stating that Danny was sleeping over at Bowsette's place but it was getting harder. She then heard a knock on the door and opens it to find her brother and Bowsette there. Danny! She shouted and hugs him. Whoa! Jazz! Nice to see you too. Danny said surprised. Where have you been? It has been 3 days, Jazz started to ask before noticing the luggage they had. Danny? What going on? Jazz asked. Danny opens his mouth to answer, but his parents step into the room and notice them. Jack and Maddie both hug Danny. Welcome home, Danny. Jack said. Hey, sorry I was gone for so long. He said before they notice Bowsette and Boopup. Boopup barks and Maddie knees down and pet him. Ah, he's cute, Maddie said. That's Boopup. He's my dog. Bowsette said walking up. Maddie then looks at Danny with confusion on her face. Danny? What's going on? She asked. Sounds like they had a bird and bees time, Jack smirks. Dad! Danny shouted embarrassed as Bowsette blushes like crazy. Not funny, Jack. Maddie said annoyed. Jack just shrugs and they look at Danny. Bowsette is going to have to stay with us for a while, Danny said. What? Why? Maddie asked, glaring at her son. There's a problem Bowsette's place. There was a flood and we try to fix it only to make it worse. It's gotten so bad, that Bowsette can't live there anymore until it's clean up. I offer her to stay with us because she had nowhere else to go. Danny said, hoping they would buy it. Jack and Maddie look at each other and nodded. Okay son, she can stay. Jack smiles. Really? Danny asked surprise. Of course, but no, funny business, Maddie said. Don't worry Mrs. Fenton, we won't do that, Bowsette said, blushing. Maddie notices her blush and thought that they were getting carried away. Okay, but if you two do decide to do it, inform us first, Maddie said. Alright. Bowsette shuddered. Your girlfriend can use the spare room we have, Jack said before leading close to them. As well for anything else you might need. He smirks. Dad. Jazz said, had heard him. Danny and Bowsette blush and grabs her things before heading upstairs. Maddie glared at Jack how sorta flinched at it. After getting things set up in Bowsette's new room, Danny headed downstairs and saw Jazz waiting for him. Okay, Danny. What's the real story? She asked. Danny sighs and told her about their date and their run-in with her father, King Boo. He told her about the challenge and how King Boo's made sure he'll lose only to be safe by the Phantom Rebels and was taken to the Ghost Zone to heal. He then told her about Bowsette's mother, Queen Rose, who was a human, making Bowsette a genuinely born alpha. Jazz listened and was very shocked to hear all that. Danny finishes by saying that Bowsette's mother wanted Bowsette to stay with him and his family as King Boo knows where Bowsette was staying. Wow, that's a lot in the past 3 days. Jazz said. I know, but that doesn't change anything. I still love Bowsette, and I promise her mother that I'll watch over her. Danny said. Jazz nods. She could understand why Danny was doing this. Okay. I'm going to check on her. Is that okay? Jazz asked. Yeah, Danny said and headed to the kitchen. Danny grabs a banana and started to pull it back as he thought of how he was going to stop King Boo. He knew he wasn't really evil, it was that gem on his head. Danny reaches in his pocket and pulls out a purple gem. During the time he was heading back to the mansion after the movie, he spotted it on the ground and picked it up. He meant to ask Rose about it but forgot about it until now. He took a bite of his banana and heard a knock on his door. Danny blinks before heading towards the window to make sure none of Bowsette's guards found them but smiles when he saw who it was. He walks up and opens the door to see the shocked faces of Tucker and Sam. Danny? Sam asked, surprised. Hey, guys. What's hanging? Danny said. His friends just jump on him and knock him to the ground. Okay. It's good to see you. Danny smiles. Dude, you've been gone for 3 days. Tucker said. We've been worry sick. Sam added. Well, sit down. I got lots to tell you. Danny said. Jazz and Bowsette both walked back downstairs and saw Tucker and Sam with their jaws hang open at the things Danny said. You. Kidding, Tucker said. No, heard it straight from her mother, Danny said. Both of them just stare at Danny, shocked. Guys, look, I know it's strange but it's the truth. Plus, I learned that King Boo isn't really evil. It was the gem on his crown. Rose is already trying to find a way to free him so he can be the man she fell in love with. Danny said. So, please. Don't treat me any different, Bowsette spoke up. Danny? Why is she here? Sam asked, confused. Yeah, about that, Bowsette is going to have to stay with me for a while. Her mother was worried that King Boo knows where she lives and could go after it, thanks to Helen. Danny said. Yeah, I can see that, Tucker said. Sam tries to hide her jealously but Bowsette notices. She knew that she will have to talk to Sam about it later. Tucker then lights up, as if he had an idea. Hey, guys, a new movie just came out. Want to go see it? He asked. Danny looks at Bowsette, unsure. The last time he went out, he was almost killed. I don't know. Tuck, Danny said. Come on, dude. Please. Tucker begged. We might as well, Danny. My father doesn't know that we have returned to the human realm, Bowsette said and turns into her human form. Fine. Let's hit the movies, Danny said. Just as Bow exit the house, she got the eerie feeling that someone was watching her. She turns and looks away but didn't find anyone. The group reaches the movie theater and saw some people standing gossiping about the movie. They got their tickets and took their seats. Danny's and Bow's eyes widen when they saw the movie title. Phantom of the Dead. Starring Danny Phantom himself. Tucker and Sam look at the two clearly surprised. They both stay quiet and watch the movie. Bow had a bit of trouble with the BLD and gore of the zombies, but she smiles every time Danny was on the screen. Then came the ending. Bow blushed as Danny popped the question to her just before being a zombie and she had to end his life. Once it was done, everyone exit commenting on how sad it was for their hero to die, and some like how Danny asked Bowsette to marry him. The only person that didn't like it was Paulina. Dude, how in the world do you know the movie director? Tucker asked once they were far away from people. Monty is actually a member of Bow's castle staff. During my recovery with Bow's mother, I run into him and he asked me to be in his movie. It's no big deal. Danny said. No big deal. You are so lucky that you met the guy that made those Godzilla movies. Tucker said, jealous. Sam on the other hand was quiet. She couldn't get over how Danny asked Bowsette for her hand in marriage. And the way Bowsette had to end his life, leaving her alone in the world of zombies. Well, I said the movie was good but really cheesy, Sam said. Bow couldn't help but blush before getting that eerie feeling again. The group decides to split as Tucker and Sam need to head home. Danny and Bow started to head home but their ghost sense went and saw someone run from them. Hold it! She shouted and ran after the person. Bow? Danny asked and ran after her. They chased the person until they ran into an alley that was a dead end. Before the person could do anything, Danny jumps on him. Bow runs up and was shocked on who it was. Cruller? She asked, shocked. Hello, princess. He said as Danny got off him. What are you doing here? Danny asked. I was tasked to watch over the princess. He said. By who? Danny asked, annoyed. Authority by the Queen of the Booze. He said. Bow was shocked to hear that her mother sent Cruller to watch over her. She knew Danny was going to get upset and sighs. Cruller, I understand that my mother is worried, but we're fine. We have the medallions should we need her help. Return to my mother and tell her we are fine. She said. As you wish, princess. Cruller bows he almost fell over and flew away. Danny sighs as Bow steps up to him. Are you okay? She asked. Yeah, I'm just glad we don't need a bodyguard. After all, you got me to watch over you. Danny said. Bow smiles and kisses his cheek, knowing that their love was growing deeper. Where she is? King Boo yelled, causing many boos to back away. It was only a few days after the Phantom rebels had run off with both his daughter and the savior. Many boos looks all over the ghost zone and the earth, but they couldn't find anything about where they were. One boo, still shaking, floated up to him. We looked everywhere, my king. They are gone. He said. Fools. Idiots. Get out of my sight. King Boo shouted, causing his guards to run from him. He leans back on his throne, and took a breath. There was no doubt in his mind. Rose has her now. King Boo sighs and picks up the picture. He touches the image of Rose and sighs to himself. Rose, I really wish I didn't make you leave. I never wanted us to fight like this. He said. King Boo reaches over and grabs a special phone. A phone that allows him to call anyone from anywhere. Rose sat in her office, drinking some of her tea. She heard a knock and saw Shivers step in. Forgive me, Mississippi. But your husband is calling you. He said, handing her the phone. Thank you, Shivers. She said before placing the phone on her ear. Hello, Boo. She said in a kind voice. Cut the bull, Rose. Where is my daughter? King Boo said. I don't know. She left shortly after Danny was healed. She didn't tell where she was going. Rose said, sipping her tea. Bullcrap. King Boo swore. You know where they are. Tell me, now. He added. So you can keep our daughter locked up. Treat her like a prisoner. What happened to the Boo that didn't care what other thought? What happened to the man I meet? I feel in love with? Rose shouted. Rose, I will not repeat myself again, where is my daughter? King Boo shouted. Somewhere safe. Somewhere where you can't touch her. I know this is not the real you. Please, I still love you. Rose said before whispering. What she didn't know, for a second, King Boo looks to be a little different. His eyes look to be more clear as if those words mean something to him. However, he grabs his head before talking into the phone again. Rose, Bowsette is to become the next ruler of the Ghost Zone. She needs to be here to pick her husband. He said. Rose growls. She knew what was causing King Boo to act like this. The very same thing that drove them apart. The dark gem on his crown. Boo, I'm not giving my daughter back to you. She a growing girl. I approve of her relationship with dannyphantom. No matter what you do, she will never pick the man you choose for her. Just like how you refuse to marry a girl that your parents pick out. Say what you will, but I trust our daughter and Clockwork is ready watching over her. Rose said. Clockwork? You got him on your little plan? King Boo shouted in shock. He on all sides and no sides. You know that. Rose told him. King Boo snaps out of his shock and knew this was getting nowhere. Rose, I'll ask one last time, where is my daughter? He shouted. Far from you. I've treated her more like a daughter than you even have. She's living a happy life with her boyfriend, and I give them both my blessing. If you want to know where she is, then take OFF that gem. Rose shouted, slamming the phone on the receiver. Rose sighs. There had to be a way for her husband to come back. Back to the man she loves with all her heart. She picks up the picture and touches the image of King Boo. Back at the castle, King Boo was shocked to hear Rose hang upon him. He then bares his teeth, growling dangerously as his eye turns fully back. A loud scream that was filled with thousands of cries of wraths was heard through the castle, scaring many of the castle staff. As King Boo started to calm down, he saw Helen walking in, bowing to him. My king, I'm really sorry, but I can't find your daughter. I believe the Phantom rebels are blocking my spy camera. She said. King Boo glares at her before standing up. He walks up to her, and she saw his eyes. They were full of pure rage. A warning he was pushed, and he would take it out on the nearest ghost. That is a waste of my time. If you're going to give me news that I already know, then you have no business here. He said, walking back her. Find my daughter, Helen. Or else. He told her before leaving the room. Helen took a breath. She was spare of his wrath, but she glows to herself. That no-good princess. She had to be so stubborn. Just like her human mother. Well, once I find the princess and that fake queen, I will give them both to King Boo and have the throne. And the princess will have to do what I say. Helen told herself. Amity Park. Bowsette was nervous and excited about the new year. It was her first one on Earth, and she was celebrating with her boyfriend. She spotted Danny handing her some Christmas decorations and put them in a box. You know, you can help us, Jazz, Danny said, turning to his sister. I finished my work already. I'm just taking a little break. Jazz said, reading a book. I finished my work already. I'm just talking a little break. Danny mocks. Jazz looks up and narrows her eyes at him. Oh, grow up, Danny. Besides, you got Bow helping you. She said. Yeah, she's much better at it. So much better than a sister, who doesn't act her age. Danny said. Jazz rolls her eyes and shuts her book. She got up and left the room. Danny rolls his eyes and notices Bowsette glaring at him. What? She started it. Danny said, seeing the princess in disguise shaking her head. She was about to speak up when they heard a bark. They both turned and saw Boopop running up to them, jumping on Danny. Danny laughs as the ghost dog licks his face. Easy, boy. Danny said, pushing the puppy off him. Boopop barks and bends down, wanting to play with him. Danny had to laugh. I get it, but later, okay? I still have some work to take care of. Danny told the ghost dog. However, Boopop barks and tries to pull Danny away by his brief leg. Danny sighs and looks at Bowsette. Bowsette giggles, knowing Boopop had a little too much energy for a ghost. Go ahead, Danny. I got the rest. Just make sure you don't break anything. She said. Thanks, Bowsette, I own you one. Danny said, kissing her cheek. You bet you do. She teased. Come on, boy, Danny said, making Boopop follow him. Bowsette blushes from the kiss as she went back to work. She really hopes that Boopop will behave this time. Danny took Boopop outside, not wanting anything to break. He also knew that Boopop was different than Cujo. He looks around and spots a stick. He picks it up and waves it at Boopop. See the stick? Do you want the stick? Danny asked, causing Boopop to bark happily. Fetch. Danny said, tossing it. Boopop ran after it and brought it back to Danny. Danny goes to take it, but Boopop pulls back. Come on, drop it. Danny said, pulling harder. Soon they started a tug-of-war, which ended with the stick breaking and Danny falling on his ass. Boopop then jumps on him, licking his face again. Danny laughs as he tries to push the ghost dog off him. Suddenly, his ghost sense went off, and he groans. Since Christmas was over this year, that means some ghosts will start attacking the town again. He looks around before seeing a cat on the fence. What really stood out was that the cat had 3 tails instead of 1. Danny hears a growl and sees that it was coming from Boopop. Not wanting something bad to happen, Danny picks Boopop but was trying to get out of his arms. Danny held on to the ghost dog before the cat gave a cat grin to it. It then turns around and shakes its peach in a teasing manner. Boopop growls and broke free from hands, barking hysterically. The cat turns around to see Boopop heading for it and let out a fearful meow before jumping down. Boopop phases through the fence before Danny could stop him. Danny? What's going on? He turns and saw Bowsette walking outside after hearing her dog barking like mad. No time. Boopop just went after a cat. We need to stop him. Danny said before hopping over the fence. Bowsette was confused. Why would Boopop chase after a cat? But Danny was right, they had to stop Boopop before he causes any trouble. She quickly follows after her boyfriend, ready to help him get her dog back. Boopop chasing after the cat as they both ran down the street. Danny had to chase after them on foot as he couldn't turn into his ghost form. Many people watch as Danny and Bus chase after a cat and a dog before entering the park. Tucker sighs as he puts away his PDA. Nothing. I search every website and I found nothing about the Dark Moon. He said. Well, I guess this book will have to do, Sam said, reading it. Anything? Tucker asked. Sam was about to answer when they heard the sound of a cat and a dog. The cat hops on Tucker's head before leaping over him, causing Sam to giggle. Tucker got up, confused about what the cat was doing. However, he was suddenly pushed towards the ground as Boopop ran past him. Sam tries to hold her laughter as Danny and Bowsette then run up and seize them. Guys! Did you see which way Boopop went? Danny asked. Tucker pointed in the direction that the ghost dog went, and both lovers started to run again. Confused, both Sam and Tucker follow after them. The cat continues to run from before climbing up a tree. Boop ends up hitting the tree, leaving itself a little daisy, with cartoon cat spinning around his head. The cat snickers at Boop as he stood up and started to bark once again. Boop. The four teens ran up and saw Boop barking at a cat. Boop. Come here. Bowsette told her dog, but it didn't listen to her. What's gotten into him? Tucker asked. A strange cat appeared on my fence, and Boop chased after it, Danny said. Well, cats and dogs don't get along, Sam said. But Boop never chased cats before, Bowsette said before looking at the cat. Wait, does that cat have 3 tails? She thought before the cat jumps from the tree and on Tucker's head again. It jumps off before running as Boop knocks Tucker to the ground again. Boop. Get back here. Bowsette shouted, chasing after him. Boop chases the cat back to Fenton Works, and they both ran towards the potrel. The cat was ready to jump in before something bit down on one of its tails. It turns around and saw Boop biting on its middle tail. It hisses at him and tries to scratch the ghost dog to free itself. But Boop didn't let go. He started to pull back as the cat tries to run into the portal. Suddenly, a snap was heard and Boop fell backward. The cat turns and saw one of its tails in Boop's mouth. It hisses at him before jumping into the portal. Boop growls, and was about to jump in the portal as well. Boop. He stops as he saw his MSTR and her friends. Bowsette was glaring at him as Danny and Tucker try to catch their breath as Sam looks a bit worried. Come here, now. She told the ghost dog. Boop walks up to her and sat on the floor as Bowsette crossing her arms. Drop it. She orders, and he drops the tail. Corner. She told him, pointing to one. Boop whines as he walks over to the corner. Seeing that he will listen, for the time being, she turns to the rest of her friends. I'm really sorry about Boop. He's not normally like this. She said. It fine. I'm not hurt. Tucker said, unknowing having a paw print on his face. Yeah, it's cool, Sam said, smiling. Danny sighs and feels he should apologize to Bowsette. Bowsette, I'm really sorry. It was my job to keep an eye on Boop, he said before Bowsette stops him. No, Danny, it's my fault. Boop is my dog. I should keep him on a leash. She said, sighing. Danny sighs, glad that Bowsette was mad with him. I guess we better continue getting ready for New Year. Sam, Tucker, want to help out since you're here? Danny said, then asked his best friends. Sure, dude. Tucker smiles. Why not? Sam added. Thanks, Danny said before they all went upstairs. However, Bowsette picks up the tail and looks at it. There's something strange about that cat, and it looks really familiar for some reason. Hey, Bowsette. You coming? Danny asked, making her snap out of her thoughts. Coming. She said, running up the stairs. In the ghost zone. Helen sat in her office, trying to find the princess so she could get on the good side of the king. She heard a meow, and turns to see her cat, Polter Kitty. Oh. There you are, sweetie. Mommy was starting to get war. Helen stops when she notices that one of her cat's tails were missing. She quickly picks up her cat, and grew really worried. What happened to your appealing tails? She almost screams. All Polter Kitty could do was give a painful meow. Helen hugs her cat before growling. Don't worry, sweetie. Mommy will make them pay for hurting you. She said, promising to hunt down whoever hurt her cat. Back at Fenton Works, a few minutes before the countdown. Danny sat with his family, and places an arm around Bowsette's shoulders. She leans onto him as Danny smiles. After everything was done, Tucker and Sam both headed home to be with their families, though Sam wasn't looking forward to hers. They had the news on to watch the ball drop to start another year. What a year! he said. Tell me about it. Bowsette agrees. To think that she would meet and fall in love with the savior of the ghost zone. Not only that, but finding out her mother was alive and was a human. The bigger shock was learning she was a born alpha. But Danny didn't treat her any different, and she was happy about that. Hey! They're starting the countdown. Jack cheers. Everyone watches as the ball lower, counting along with the timer. Once it hit 0, everyone shouted Happy New Year. Then everyone was shocked when Jack grabs Maddie and drips her before kissing her. Both Danny and Jazz looked embarrassed at their action as Bowsette blushes. Hey, Jazz. I sorry about teasing you before. Danny said, making his sister smile. It's okay. Besides, you have a whole year to make it up to me. Jazz said, smirking. Danny rolls his eye before feeling someone tap his shoulder. He turns and saw Bowsette looking at him, back in her ghost form. Happy New Year, dannyphantom, she said, blushing. Happy New Year, Princess Bowsette, Danny said before pulling her into a kiss. Jazz sighs as she was the only phantom that didn't have someone to share her love with. She heard a whine, and looks down to see Boopup looking at her with sad eyes. Jazz smiles before picking the ghost dog up. She hugs him, and was soon being licked by the ghost dog. Danny heard his sister cry out and turns to see Jazz getting cover in dog spit. He could help but laugh at that. A few weeks passed since New Year's, and both Danny and Bowsette were walking down the school's halls, holding each other hands. Sam sighs as she saw their hands. She knew that Danny was happy and that's all he needed, but she wishes it was her holding his instead. Bow peeks behind her and notices Sam's face. She's really having a hard time letting go of Danny. She's happy for us, but, Bow thought before spotting Paulina and Star walking up to them. Well, look at what we have here. Two of the most unpopular girls in the school. Paulina smirks. What do you want now, Paulina? Sam asked, rolling her eyes. I'm sending out an all-girls sleepover invitation at my house. I would have invited you too, but it's only for cool kids. And you two are not cool. Paulina smirks. Whatever, Sam said, not wanting to deal with her today. A sleepover? I never had one before, but maybe, Bow thought as they walked past Paulina. Lunchtime rolls around, and the four sat at their table. After a bit more thinking, Bowsette finally spoke up. Hey, guys. She said. The three turns to her, and she took a breath. When Paulina mentioned an all-girls sleepover, I was thinking of having one of my own. She said. Really? Tucker asked. Yes, I've never been at a sleepover before. And I was wondering if I could sleep over at Sam's place. Bowsette said. What? Sam yelled. Bow, are you sure? Danny asked, worried. Yes. Please, Sam. Bowsette asked. Well, I don't know. My parents might not let you stay. Sam said, trying to turn down the idea. She really didn't like the idea of having makeup, gossiping about boys, playing truth or dare, watching chick flicks movies, singing karaoke, and pillow fights. It wasn't her thing. She then notices something else, something she caught on too late. Bowsette was giving her the puppy dog pout. And she was caught in it. Ugh. Fine. She said, seeing Bowsette giggle. However, Sam had to admit. Bowsette was far different than any princess she has seen or heard of. She was most imprisoned in her castle, not being able to enjoy the things teenagers would do. And with her father looking for her. Alright, you can come over to my place, tonight. The sooner we have it, the sooner it will be over. Sam said before turning to her two friends. If you two even think about spying on us, then I might as well kick you where it really hurts. She warns them. Tucker gulps and nods. Danny, on the other hand, looks at Bowsette, still worried for her. Later that day. Hey, Danny. Can I borrow your backpack? Bowsette asked, getting some clean clothes to wear. I don't know about this, Bowsette, Danny said, giving her his backpack. What if your father comes looking for you? I mean, he doesn't know where I live. He added. Bowsette sighs before kissing Danny. Danny, I love you, but you need to relax. She said. Well, maybe you should take the Fenton thermos and Fenton phones just in case, Danny said before Bowsette stops him. Danny, I'll be fine. If anything happens, I'll use the medallion to call for help. I'm not a child. She said. Yeah, you're right. I guess after meeting your father for the first time I'm still on edge. Danny said. Bowsette couldn't blame him. Her father was clearly not himself. She really wishes she knew why, but that was for another day. Well, I'm off. She said, turning into her human form. Are you sure? Danny asked. Yes, I'll be fine, Bowsette said, kissing him before leaving. Danny watches as she walks down the street, keeping an eye out for her father's guards. Danny scans the skies as well, but there were no ghosts around. Still, it didn't make him feel better. He takes out his cell phone and calls Tucker. Hey, Tuck. I really hate doing this, but I feel we need to keep an eye on Sam and Bowsette. He said, knowing how much trouble he will be in if Sam and Bowsette caught them. Bowsette follows the address that Sam gave her and soon found her mansion. While it was impressive, Bowsette has been to many mansions before. Sure. Each one is different, but she wasn't going to act like a spoiled girl. She walks up to the door and knocks. It opens to show Sam, who smiles a little. Hey, Bow. She said. Hi, Sam. Nice place you got here. Bowsette said. I guess, come on in, Sam said. Bowsette steps in before spotting her parents. It was very clear that they were the opposite of Sam. They both wore a lot of colors and look really unsure of her. The only person that looks happy to see her was an old woman that looks just like Sam. Bow, these are my parents and my grandmother, Sam said, remembering to use her nickname. Samantha. Who is this? Pamela asked. Hello, Mrs. Mansion. My name is Bunin Scarestair, but I prefer Bow. She said, groaning at that fake name she came up with. She caught her before giving a small bow. Thank you for letting me stay here. She said. Pamela smiles and grabs Bowsette's hands. Oh, she's so polite. She has potential, and finally for Samantha to have a real female friend. She said, making her husband nod. Bowsette knew why they were acting like this. Sam told her that her parents never liked the fact Sam was hanging out with Danny and Tucker. And if they found out she was too, then it would be her father all over again. That's great, Mom. Now we're going to head upstairs and start our sleepover. Sam said, pulling Bowsette away. Have fun, you two. Treat her nicely, Sam. Her grandmother said, smiling. Will do, Grandma. Sam said. After seeing Sam's bedroom and how it was different than the rest of the house, Bowsette walks into the bathroom and changes into her white nightgown. She walks into Sam's room, who was surprised. Whoa. Bow. You look like a ghost. Sam said before blushing. Sorry. She added. It's fine. Danny said the same thing, Bowsette said. So, how is everything? Both girls turned and saw Pamela walk in with a glass of milk and a plate of cookies. As much as Sam didn't like her mother, she did love her cookies and took one. Fine, so far, Mrs. Mansion, Bowsette said before thinking about something. Excuse, Mrs. Mansion. She said, making the woman turn to her. Yes. She asked. This is my first sleepover, and I was wondering if you know anything that we can do. She asked, not seeing Sam trying to stop her. Oh. Well, it's been so long since I had a sleepover of my own. How about we do a bit of makeup? I can braid your hair. She said. Seems interesting, Bowsette said as she and Pamela sat down. Sam sighs and knew that Bowsette was new to this sleepover thing. She might as well put up with it. Outside. Danny sighs as he sat in the Spectre speeder as Tucker watches the girls with his binoculars. They were far away enough not to be spotted but close enough to see Sam's place. Dude. This is a gold mine. Well, maybe no for Sam, but this is nothing better than the girls' locker room. Tucker said. Danny growls before slapping Tucker in the back of the head. Ow. What did I do? Tucker asked. Tucker, we're here to make sure Bowsette is safe. Not to spy on my girlfriend. Danny told him angrily. Sorry, Tucker said as Danny sighs. After braiding her hair, Bowsette let Pamela put making on her face. Sam watches from afar, seeing how well Bowsette and her mom were getting along. She had outright refused to wear any makeup. But she also couldn't help but feel jealous of them. And done. Pamela said, holding up a mirror. Bowsette saw that she went with the normal kind of makeup. A bit of powder on her face and some blush on her cheeks. She even had some red lipstick on. Oh, my. I was having so much fun, I've forgotten that I have to take care of something. Pamela said, getting up. I'll leave you, girls, to enjoy the rest of the sleepover. And Samantha, please invite your friend more often. She said before leaving. Thank you. Bowsette said, smiling. Well, that was something, she said, turning to Sam. Yeah, it was, Sam said, upset. Sam. What's wrong? Bowsette asked. This is not the kind of sleepover that I wanted. Leaving to my mom to mess things up. Sam said, facing away. But I only want to know what a sleepover was like, Bowsette said. Then go have one with my mom. Since you two are close. Sam shouted, making Bowsette figure out what she was mad about. I'm sorry, Sam. I didn't want to offend you. I just thought she might have an idea of what we could do. Bowsette said. Look, I would have done the makeup and hair thing myself if you didn't hang around my mom. Sam yelled. Bowsette looks down and sighs. You're lucky. She said, surprising Sam. What? She asked. You're lucky to have both a mom and a dad. Me? I only knew of that for 5 years. Now, I can't. My father is not the man he was, and my mother has been kicked out. Things haven't been the same for 9 years. Both of my parents are spit, and my father is acting like a tyrant. I would do anything to have my family together again. Anything to see my parents together and being a family once more. Bowsette said, trying not to cry. Sam looks at the ground. She had forgotten that Bowsette's parents were spit, and she was mostly a prisoner in her own castle. Meaning that Bowsette had really right childhood growing up. Bowsette felt her eyes started to water before seeing a tissue in front of her. I'm sorry, Bowsette. I guess I didn't know you after all. You wanted to have a sleepover, and I end up not helping. Sam said. Bowsette smiles and dries her tears. Well, we still got the whole night. Let's make the most of it. Plus, it will show I have a bit of a wild side to me. Bowsette said. Heh, Mom and Dad are going to freak out, Sam smirks. Outside. Danny sighs as Sam and Bowsette were getting along, and no trouble has happened. Maybe he was worrying too much. He was just about to tell Danny to head home before his ghost sense went off. He looks around and saw Johnny 13 riding through the sky with no sight of Kitty. He knew what that meant. Come on, Tucker. He said, turning to his ghost form and flew after Johnny. Tucker blinks before setting the Spectre speeder into drive and follows after him. Back inside, Bowsette surprised Sam with a pillow attack, and the two started a pillow fight. Sam had to admit, she never knew how much fun this was. The two girls laugh as they kept hitting each other, causing feathers to fly. However, Bowsette stops when her ghost sense appears and looks outside. She sees Johnny 13 and groans. Johnny was a really big creep. He once tries to make himself a prince to win her hand, but she saw right through him. Both she and her father banned him from their lair, and she never saw him again, until now. She was then shocked to see Danny flying past. At first, she thought that Danny was going after Johnny because he was known to cause trouble until she saw the specter speeder. "Oh, Danny!" she groans. "What?" Sam asked. "Looks like the boy went against our wishes," she said, letting Sam see the specter speeder. Sam shook her as Bowsette sat down on Sam's bed. "I really do love Danny, but he needs to stop worrying so much. Just because I'm a princess doesn't mean I need to be treated as one," she said. Sam sighs and sat next to her. "Don't be too mad with him. Danny had done this for as long as I remember him. It's annoying, but it's his way of showing that he cares. Plus, with your father looking for you, one can't be too careful." Sam said, "Remember what Danny told her during his first meeting with King Boo." Bowsette sighs and faces Sam. "Sam. Can I tell you something?" she asked. "Sure," Sam said before seeing the ghost princess. Sigh. "Before we came to stay with Danny's parents, my mom informed me that boo mating season was coming up, and this year, I will be infected," she said. "Are you sure?" Sam asked. "Yes, as you know, when a boo mates, we are technically married. I only perform half of the marriage with him, and this year I'm going to do the second half," she said. "What?" Sam asked, shocked. "I want to wait until Danny is ready, but my mom said I need to be ready for it now. If I try to wait until boo mating season is over, then it will be worst. Sam, I'm trying to work up telling Danny about it, but I could never find the time," Bowsette said. Sam sighs. She placed a hand on her shoulder and gave a small smile. "Well, I won't say anything. But if you want my opinion, I think you better tell him as soon as you can. I mean, Danny knows about boo mating season, right?" Sam said, then asked. Bowsette nods, remembering telling him back when she first met him. "Then he will have no reason to turn you down. I'm sure he'll help you," Sam said. Bowsette smiles and hugs Sam. Sam flinch, but she returns it. The next day, Danny and Bowsette were eating breakfast before Bowsette cleans up and got dressed. She gave a small bow and thanked them for a good time. She walks back to Fenton Works as she thought about what Sam told her. She knew she had to tell Danny about the boo mating season and how she will be infected this year. She enters the house and saw Danny sitting with his parents, looking really tired. "Hey, Bowsette. How was the sleepover?" Jack asked. "It was great. Maybe I'll throw my own one day," she said before kissing Danny's cheek. Rose sighs as she heard the update on her daughter. So far, her husband's guards have yet to learn where Bowsette was staying. She was happy about that, but she still was upset over her husband's change. A strange man came to them one day, bearing a gift for them. It was a dark purple gem. They both didn't think much of the gift but were touched by the thoughtfulness. The man stated it was for their daughter, but she was too young at the time. So Boo ends up wearing instead. "Miss Rose?" Rose turns to see Shivers staying by the door with some tea in his hands. "Would you like some tea?" he asked. "Thank you, Shivers," she said, smiling. "Thinking about your daughter again? You seem to be beaming with happiness since she stayed here for a few days," he asked. "In a way," Rose said as Shivers pours the tea in her cup. "Miss Rose, I understand that the king is not himself. Even after putting the dark gem on his head, I can see he still loves you. That is something the gem would never take. Shivers said, handing her the cup. I know. Even after all that he has done, I still love him. He treated me like a person. He didn't mind my hair or my eyes. He was a sweet and innocent man. Rose said, sadly. I'm sure you will free him from the curse he's under. The young princess does want her family together again. Shivers said. Rose smiles. A chance to have the family together again was her dream too. She knew very well that the real Boo was still in him somewhere, fighting to get out. Miss Rose, never give up. I know you will free him. Shivers said. Thank you, Shivers, Rose said, smiling. Shivers bows and left the room. Rose slips her tea and looks at the picture of her ghostly family. Rose smiles and thought back to her first date with Boo, back he was a prince. 20 years ago. Rose brushes her long white hair, humming to herself. She was very excited for her first date. A date with a ghost, no less. But she didn't care. Prince Boo was far different than any other boys she met. And he saved her from Richard. The one person that continues to make fun of her and insult her. She hated him. She pities the girl that ends up with him. Rose turns to her white dress that she hasn't worn since the gala where she met Boo. To think in a short time, they were from friends to dating in a few short days. Rose had to admit that they might be moving too fast, but she didn't mind. After all, they did hit off pretty quickly. She looks at the time and saw that Boo will be here in an hour. It gave her plenty of time to freshen up and look her best. Prince or not, a woman must at least look nice for their love. Boo's castle. Boo stood in front of a mirror, trying to keep himself calm. Hey, Rose. Looking good. He said, trying to act all cool. No. How about hey babe, ready to hit the streets? He said, trying to act like a biker. No. That sounds worst. He groans. He was straight out nervous. It was his first date, and it was with a girl he actually likes. Rose was unlike any girl he had met. He almost mistook her as a ghost when he first saw her but saw she was unsure and trying to avoid others. When she notices him, she turned away and blushes. Since none of the other girls would give him space or listen to him, he decides to try his luck with her. And they hit it off. Boo was never so happy. At last, a girl that was willing to heard his words and was interesting in his lifestyle. Best of all, she wasn't inserted in his rich life, just himself. A few days ago, he decides to work up the nerve to ask her out, and she said yes. He flew into the air later that week, shouting to the heavens that he finally got a date on his terms. However, he knew his parents would never accept Rose because she was human. But he didn't care. He loves Rose and she loves him. That's all he needed. Then he spotted Rose getting dragged into an alley by 3 boys. He flew down to save her and saw one of them about to pull her shirt up. He quickly stops them, and he was rewarded with a kiss. His first kiss. Now he was getting ready for his first date. And he was nervous as hell. To the great beyond, what is wrong with me? He said, sighing. He fixes up his suit and combs his hair. He then breathes on his hand to smell his breath, which was still good. He sighs and places on his crown. He soon left his room, and walks towards the castle gates. He avoided his parents so they wouldn't learn about Rose. He was not going to let them ruin his chance with her. Rose steps out of the shower and wraps herself up in a towel. After letting herself dry for a few minutes, she walks back to her room and puts her clothes on. She grabs the dress and slips in it. She never thought that she'll be wearing this dress again. Rose used to hate it, but now it was starting to grow on her. She then spots her rose hair clip and places it in her hair. She looks and smiles. She was ready and now had to wait for Boo. She heard the doorbell and headed downstairs. When she opened it, Boo stood there in shock. Rose smiles, that was a good sign. Good evening, your majesty, she said. Good evening, my fair lady, Boo said, snapping out of his shock. For you, my lovely Rose. He said, holding out a bundle of roses. Thank you, they're lovely. Rose smiles, taking it. Fresh pick from my family garden. He said, glad that Rose likes them. Mom is going to kill me if she even figures out that I pick her roses. He added in thought. So, where to, my lady? Boo asked. Just be yourself, Boo. Since we agree to make this a human date, I have a place in mind. Rose said, smiling. He's so cute when he acts like a gentleman. Rose thought. She's so pretty. Boo thought before offering his arm. Rose smiles and took it, ready to start their date. Both of them enter a restaurant, and were taken to their table. Boo pulls out the set for Rose, and she smiles. She sat down as Boo took his seat. The waiter gave them their menus and say he'll be back with their drinks. Wow, Rose. I'm surprised you can afford this. My parents could buy this place and then some. Boo said. Well, my parents are always traveling. Luckily, they make more than enough money to keep us going. Rose said. Traveling? They don't take you with them? Boo asked. They used to when I was little. But now they want me to finish high school. It's sad not to see them every day like most teens with theirs, but I'm not letting it bug me. Rose said. That's good to hear. My parents are much better. They're way too old-fashioned. They seem to think that when I take the throne, I'm going to continue their rule. But I have learned that the world outside my castle is changing. If we keep living in the past, then our enemies will have the upper hand. I plan on changing that. Boo said. Rose smiles. Sound like he was being thoughtful about his rule. The waiter came, and they both ordered water. After that, they ordered their food. Boo, will you remember me when you become king? Rose asked. Rose, I will never forget you. I don't care that you're a human and I'm a ghost. I love you no matter what. Nothing will me forget the Rose I saw back in the gala. Boo said. That sounds corny, but I love you too. Rose smiles. Boo blushes and smiles. Thanks, can I have another kiss? He asked. Boo, you can kiss me all you want. I'm all yours tonight. Rose smiles. Boo smiles, and they lead forward to kiss. Excuse me, you're in my seat. The two turn to see Richard and another girl with him. Rose narrows her eyes at the girl. Meanie. She growls. Rose. She growls back. So, this is the meanie girl you told me about, Boo said, knowing all about her. And who's this? Meanie asked. Prince Boo of the Boo Kingdom. I'm on a date with Rose. He said. A prince? Ha. Like a prince would hang out with a freak like dead Rose here. Meanie laugh. Oh. You think I'm turned off by the color of her hair and eyes? Sorry, but I like them. Boo said. Rose blushes. Boo was the only person, besides her parents, that didn't mind her hair and eyes. She was told that her great-grandmother had white hair. Her eyes were actually from heterochromia. Something was knowing from her father's side of the family. Humph, whatever, Meanie said. Now if you don't mind, we have a date to continue, Boo said, facing away from them. So do we, and you took our seats. Richard said. I already pay for this, Baxter. You can't make us leave. Rose said. Oh yeah. Richard said, reaching for her. Boo quickly grabs his arm before looking right at him. Listen, and listen well, Baxter. It was bad enough you try to take Rose's shirt off, but if you try to harm him in any form, I will personally haunt you until you die and haunt your ghost until the end of time. This is your first and only warning. Boo said, his eyes turning black with his pink iris remaining. Both Richard and Meanie back away, not believing what they just saw. Then Boo covers his face. A few seconds later, he scared both of them, by letting out a loud laugh and let his long purple tongue hang out. He even showed his sharp teeth. The two screams and ran from them. Boo let his face morph back to normal and acted as nothing happened. Boo? Rose asked, a bit shocked. Yes. He asked. What was that? She asked back. Oh, just a Boo trick. All Boos have one. He smiles. Rose blinks before she smiles. I like it. She said. Today. Rose sighs as she came back from memory line. That date was one of the best dates she had. The day she learned about the real Boo. Rose slips her tea and leads back in her chair. One day, I will free you, Boo. And we'll be a family again. She said. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 6. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and Phantom Fan 21 on fanfiction.net. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.